What this is about is the LA Dodgers being World Series champs. And no, it's not about the commissioner and whatever the hell was happening with him last night. Now you never have to hear about that 32-year drought ever again because it's over. It is official. The Dodgers finally broke through. The Dodgers are your World Series champions. Clayton Kershaw is a World Series champion. Dave Roberts is a World Series champion. And when that final strike was in the glove of Austin Barnes, the party started in L.A. And L.A. partied hard because it's been a long time coming. So much pressure was released with that win. There were a bunch of guys in that Dodgers dugout who were playing with a piano strapped to their back. That much pressure. And when that final out was recorded, the piano was picked up and it was smashed. 8 straight divisional titles, going to the World Series in 3 of the last 4 years. And every single year it ends so badly. Every single year it ends in heartbreak. One year after another. It ends in pain, misery, second guessing. No wonder this city and the players were partying so hard last night. Because this time it ended with a win. This time it ended the way it should end. Because there was no doubt from the beginning of the year who the best team in baseball was, who the favorite was. If a season was going to be played, the favorite was going to be the Dodgers, especially when they added Mookie Betts. Man, they were so good, they were so dominant that David Price opted out, and they were still the heavy favorites. And they played like it in the regular season. And then when the postseason did roll around, they swept the Padres in the first round. But they then fell behind Atlanta 2-0 and then 3-1. They got cold-cocked. That was their first actual adversity that they had faced this year. Now they were tasting their own blood. Now their season was on the brink. Who knew, since they had not faced any adversity at all this season, who knew how this crew was going to react with their backs to the wall? They had not been there before. Pandemic aside, it really had been pretty easy for them this season. It was the Dodgers, and it was everybody else. Nobody could match their depth. Nobody could match their talent. Except Atlanta didn't get that memo. Atlanta had both hands around the Dodgers' collective throats. And then the haters were up on the top step. The haters were on the top step, waiting to run onto the field and bum rush Clayton Kershaw and Dave Roberts and call the Dodgers the biggest chokers ever. But they didn't. They manned the hell up. They came back to win 3 straight against a very good Braves team. Then they get out to that lead in the World Series against the Rays. Then they lose it. Then they get it back. Then they had it ripped from them in the most brutal way possible in Game 4. So now what? Now it's a best of 3. And those same haters were top-stepping it once again, saying not only were the Dodgers not going to finish once again, but this was going to be their biggest tank job ever. Yet they bounce right back in the first inning of Game 5. They take the lead. Then they went up against some serious filth from Blake Snell last night. They weighed him out. They wrecked the vaunted Rays bullpen as soon as they get the chance. I'm telling you, as soon as Snell left that game last night, there was practically a party in the Dodgers dugout. Man, I wouldn't be surprised if they had broke out the champagne right then and there. Because Snell left after Barnes singled, and then Mookie Betts. How stupid do the Red Sox look? How small market do the Red Sox look? That's what you want to do. You want to trade a guy in his prime who may end up in the Hall of Fame one day who loved being there. How stupid does that look? Anyway, all it took was 3 pitches and 1 swing to let you know that the Dodgers were going to win that game. The double moved Barnes to third, and then he came home on this. Kevin Cash, man, good manager, but he's going to get his own take. He will get an entire take of his own. But it was only a matter of seconds before that move to remove Snell bit him in the ass. Because then Corey Seager broke the tie moments later. L.A. peaking. They could feel it. And Tampa Bay looked like they had been punched in the stomach. No, they looked like they had been kicked in the package. And it's because they had, by their own manager. Julio Urias came into the game for the Dodgers in the 8th. This dude was masterful again. Like, for all the faults of the Dodgers bullpen at times during the playoffs, in games 5 and 6 when it mattered most, they were absolutely massive. And this dude was the biggest horse of all. All filth, no fear. And then in the 8th, look who was there. Mookie freaking Betts. If it sounds like I love Mookie Betts, it's because I love Mookie Betts. This guy's such an amazing player. What a leader. Yeah, I know. You go, Dodger Jim. You think Dodger Jim is feeling it? You should have heard Dodger Logan and Dodger Janet last night. I made them watch it in another room. That made it 3-1. I know that's only a 2-run lead, and I know the Rays have got tremendous heart and grit. But at 3-1, was there any doubt who was going to win that game? Was there any doubt who was going to win that World Series? Like, the Rays do battle. The Rays never give in. But by then, they had already had their heart ripped out of their chests by their own manager. At that point, a 2-run lead may as well have been a 20-run lead. And now the Dodgers are the world champs. Now, no more crap about them being chokers. No more crap about them not being able to handle the moment or the big stage. No more junk about them being a great regular season team, but not great when it matters most. Because this year, they were great when it mattered most. And don't even think about coming around here to try to hang an asterisk on this. That is the ultimate in idiocy. That is the ultimate in imbecility. It's just a bad take. It's a bad take, and it's wrong. I mean, sure, you're entitled to your own opinion. But if that's your opinion, you're wrong. The Dodgers were the best team in the regular season. They were the best team in the postseason. They didn't fluke their way to this. In fact, unlike every single other World Series champion, they had to play an extra round. Maybe you should put an asterisk on this. The asterisk to denote that it was tougher than all the other World Series titles to win because of the pandemic, because of the extra round. Because if they lost 2 games to a good Padres team, none of this even happens. Mookie Betts did not just live up to the hype, he smashed it. Corey Seager came back from an injury and took his game to a whole new level. Cody Bellinger was clutch in the field and at the plate. Walker Buehler, Urias, I can keep going. But if we're being honest, who's it really about? Who was last night really about? 2 guys, Clayton Kershaw, Dave Roberts. They're the 2 guys who have been second-guessed and questioned the most of all. They're the guys who took all the arrows for everybody else. So it's only right that when the Dodgers have the ultimate success, they're the guys who get the ultimate attention. I mean, I don't care if you love Kershaw or you hate Kershaw. It's impossible not to be moved when you see this guy's reaction to the entire thing last night. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. Here's another guy who deserved it. Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is never going to make it about him, but I will. Dave Roberts has always been a damn good manager. You don't have the success that he's had without being a really, really good manager. And he's had to deal with a ton of pressure, too. The kind of pressure that most other managers can't imagine and never have to deal with. Being the Dodgers skipper is much tougher than it looks. It's not just a matter of picking names out of a hat and assembling a lineup and filling out that lineup card every single day. I mean, yes, they are talented. But if you think that's all this guy does, you're an idiot. He's been a damn good manager, and now he's a World Series winning manager. And look at Roberts shouting out to the guys from the stage. Did you catch who he shouted out to? Rick Honeycutt, who was not with the team in Texas. Ross Stripling, who was traded in August. He's thanking a guy who was in the postseason for a different team. But in that moment, when he was on top of the mountain and he could have told the entire world to kiss his ass, instead he's up there thanking guys who aren't even there. This is what I mean when I say Dave Roberts is never going to make it about him. When he could have been telling everybody, how do you like me right now? Shouting out to guys that everybody else would forget and are not thinking about. This is what makes Dave Roberts the man he is. This is why people love Dave Roberts. And that's a big reason why the Dodgers are World Series champions. So you better put some respect on this guy. And to the question of, did the actual feeling live up to the actual expectation? Kershaw says it smashed it. The process got them there, and then the process got them beaten. And then, of course, you've got Justin Turner and his positive test for COVID. And I want to get to that, too. Quickly, some reaction off the top. Dear Dodger Jim, congrats on your win. So good to hear Mary Sue Coleman again last night as well. Some things never change. Sober up, hun. And I will discuss what I think happened to him. And I hate to disappoint you all. I do not think he was blasted. I do not think he was plastered. This guy did some really dumb things. The commissioner, he has said some really dumb things. But I don't think that he would be dumb enough to get hammered, knowing that he have to go up there after a Game 6 win by the Dodgers. Hate to disappoint. That's Jay in Denver. He also writes, War Next Level con artists Frank and Jamie McCourt using this title as collateral with the bank to upgrade each other's pads. Hashtag ballers. You're an idiot, Jay. In this moment, you couldn't keep the McCourt's name out your mouth. You're an idiot, Jay. Stop hitting me up. Dear Jim, man, who cares if the Dodgers won the World Series? We were able to leverage capital to meet our financial benchmarks in the second quarter. Scoreboard. Sign the Red Sox. Drew in West L.A. Well done, Drew.
Yo.
I mean, I've made that joke myself a million times, but well done. Way to repackage one of my jokes. I'm telling you, man. Red Sox fan, how you feeling about that? Rebel L. Leave it to Kevin Cash to show Dave Roberts how to blow a World Series title. Unwar pulling an unhittable pitcher due to analytics. Got to get to that, and I've got thoughts on that too. I mean, the analytics, the process is what got them there. Without that process, they're not in Game 6 of the World Series. And you know the whole thing about a process, right? The whole point of the process is you never deviate from the process. The process is the process. Never, ever deviate from the process. Unless your Cy Young Award winner is extremely filthy and nobody can touch him. Then maybe you deviate from the process, right?